tanks headed? Where are these PLA going? What are they going to do? I fear for the people of Hong Kong. The big thing is tomorrow and the day after. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. My friends in Hong Kong realized and believed Wengui's words. Many of them were the mainland police, People's Liberation Army from mainland, and they were convinced about this fact. They also went around the corners to force through this evil law, and they also knew that they had set up plans and tried their best to take measures against Hong Kong's compatriots on the street. And the Hong Kong people know that the Hong Kong police and the People's Liberation Army are getting to the bottom of things, including threatening our warrior friends in Hong Kong, those who parked their cars on the roads that day, and persecuting them. Now, I have asked these EU countries, the United States, what does it mean if he sues these trucks? What does it mean? If the law doesn't apply, is that a terrorist organization? If only he dared to touch our car which parked on the street in Hong Kong, it is natural for cars to stop naturally. And in a society where you have a government that threatens the society, it is normal to do something like this. But you can't convict that. So Hong Kong people know what will happen next. Then there will be a big actions coming along. So dear warrior friends, what happened next was Hong Kong's stock market. This is the core. And as long as the Hong Kong dollar could not hold up economically, it is game over for Hong Kong. The second core is whether the operations on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday can make Hong Kong's electricity, water, and transportation completely stop the People's Liberation Army from coming in, and completely stop the fake police from killing students and the elderly in Hong Kong. Can we find it out the fake police, fake PLA in various hiding places in Hong Kong, including the barrack? If the People's Liberation Army and the fake police attacked all the compatriots in Hong Kong, it means a comprehensive challenge in humanity, law, and human rights all over the world. Americans will take urgent action soon. I tell you now, if you have the courage, Friday, Sunday, you dare to park your car in the middle of the road, stop this fake police, fake PLA. We cannot endanger other people's safety, must not endanger the public safety. You will be a great man in history to prevent a bloodbath like the one that took place on June 4th, 1989. That is everyone's responsibility. Otherwise, you cannot explain to our posterity.
解放军啊，咱不能危害别人安全啊，不能危害公共安全啊！你将成为历史的伟人，要阻止一场类似于89年6·4血腥啊这个大屠杀的事情发生，这是每个人应尽的责任，否则你对后人没法交代。
Anyway, the issue of China has been an important one for me since Tiananmen Square, even before, but in terms of public policy here in the Congress in Tiananmen Square. And on June 4th, we celebrated the 30th anniversary of the massacre in Tiananmen Square. At the same time, we're observing that the Chinese government is engaged in arresting millions of Uyghurs and putting them into education camps, that they're diminishing the democracy in Hong Kong, trying to really just eliminate the culture, the language, the religion in Tibet. The list goes on and on. But right now, currently, as we gather here in Hong Kong, as you know, in the last few days, hundreds of thousands, if not 1 million people gathered in the street to protest an extradition law that the Chinese government wants the Hong Kong government to pass. It's such a horrible, horribly dangerous piece of legislation. I'm very pleased to be supporting legislation that Senator Marco Rubio and Chris Smith on the Republican side, Jim McGovern and I on our side, and others are putting forth to improve and modernize the Hong Kong U.S. Relations Act, U.S.-Hong Kong Relations Act, and that I think is going to be submitted today. They're just finalizing it, perhaps being submitted today. But this is so wrong, and I do hope that the president will speak about human rights in China and freedoms in China when he talks about trade with the Chinese.
I would anticipate that if that law were to go into effect, there would be additional advisories to Americans about the threat they would run of having China try to reach and pull them in. We've seen what we've already seen what Beijing is willing to do to punish, for example, Canada, by using baseless charges against Canadian businessmen as leverage. So I would fully expect that the State Department, we've asked them, talked about that, and I would fully expect they would update their advisories to warn of that risk. And I should have reevaluated because, frankly, its special status would be threatened. It would increasingly become under the control of the government in Beijing, and more importantly, it would be harder than ever to make the argument that they have any sort of autonomy when Beijing can reach in and get them to change laws of that magnitude where they're basically legalizing kidnapping.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe The Voice of Go Media.